Akoma.
Akoma.
And welcome. This is day one, the first day of the Akoma Day, official Akoma Day celebration. And we are Nwasha at 25 years. Shout out to all the people who have been rocking with us for so many years. Diasporians around the world, Black people who are committed to love, beautiful love, righteous love, the art and science of Black love, culture, wherever they are. And so we're happy to kick off this year's Akoma Day. The focus of this year is to simplify your love in a world of so much noise, in the gender wars, in the confusion about the intimate love relationship. We want to give you the skill sets, the heart sets, and the mindsets that are going to help you to simplify making intimate love the relationship of your wildest dreams, right? So today is the first day, and this is the day that has the most attention on it from around the world because we are in the heavyweight championship of love with Valentine's Day. And for most of our audience, you know, Valentine's Day has long since began to lose its luster. The commercialism, the festival of Lupercalia, the red bloodlust, the misinterpretation of Cupid, and all of these different things that are hanging on. But at the same time, many of our people are under the spell of our oppressors, and you know, they use the people that we love the most, the athletes, the entertainers, the actors, to promote these ideas that we get sucked up into without really understanding. But Akoma Day is here to align, to give you real purpose and intention, not superficiality when it comes to love, to have a good time, to have fun, to have a celebration, because we are all worthy of love as Black people, and we should be celebrating love to the highest and fullest extent. And so that's what we're here to do with Akoma Day. And we're starting out with the first virtue and the first principle. So Nwasha, you want to kick us off with the first virtue?
I do. In the name of, simplifying, I'm going to just read a little something from the Akoma Day book. So flexibility is the first virtue. The virtue of flexibility in a relationship is key. The ability to bend and compromise on issues concerning the well-being of the relationship will enhance communication fluidity. Flexibility demonstrates respect for our partner's point of view and related desires. The issues of right and wrong are not always relevant here. What is more important is that both parties have a tangible example of their expressed ideas within the relationship. A union without exercise flexibility is an imbalanced one and more closely resembles law than love.
Yeah, that's deep. And, you know, we need a lot of flexibility.
I think this is something that is so simple, again, in the name of simplifying love, but we often don't realize it's not going to necessarily be easy in the moment to be flexible. So it's a simple virtue. And it's necessary. What calls for your flexibility in the beginning of love? So in courting phases, in the first couple of years of a union, is not the same as what may call for flexibility later in love. So after transitions, after attaining goals, after missing goals, like we have to make sure that we can be flexible. So
Absolutely.
I think it's extremely important. And as we say, the rooted bamboo bends in all directions, and thus it can kiss the ground from all angles. So it's one of the symbols that we use that relate to flexibility.
Yes, absolutely. So important. And I want to thank you for being flexible today because I was late with some of the stuff that I had going on. So regardless of stage or age, we need to be flexible in our relationship. And flexibility is the first virtue. And it goes in tandem with the first principle, which is unified purpose. And I am also going to read from your seminal book on Akoma Day, a guidebook into the sacred science of soulmating and the cultural alternative to Valentine's Day. And it says on page 81, unified purpose is in an Akoma relationship is a shared understanding of the intent or the reason for the relationship. Unfortunately, in today's relationships, we do not thoroughly consider the purposes of our lives or the relationships we start. In our perfected state, the truest purpose for coming together with any person is to experience and remember the unity of the Mother, Father, Creator. One ancient name for this is Badimo. The ancestors taught that the real meaning for the pieces of God, our individual relationships, is to better understand the grand oneness of God, the only real relationship there is. In an Akoma relationship, it is important to discern the relationship's purpose through tangible action. The following exercise may be used to assist in developing a unified purpose. And this then exercise 1 in the book starts on page 82, and it really goes into, it's called The History of Self in Relationships, giving you a understanding. And then exercise 2 is relationship recall. Exercise 3 is mission statement. The totality of these three, the composite of these three, will help you understand your purpose. And the one thing I just want to say about purpose that's important is something that I see functionally, like just being in a relationship for a couple of decades, more than a couple of decades, is that when you stay focused on your purpose, you will not get caught up and derailed from times when you're not getting along. Because in every relationship, what we don't talk about enough is how to cope during those times where you got issues in the relationships. You're not really vibing the way you want to, or you're going through cycles where you're watching your partner and you're just not liking something about their behavior or the way they're showing up in the relationship. I think for a lot of couples and a lot of individuals, this is the time that people disengage from the relationship. But what a unified purpose does and how it serves the relationship well during this time is it can help you pivot and then go back to the greater purpose that the two of you came together, because there's going to be what we call like a micro purpose of how we function in between the parameters of our relationship and build our character that way. But then there's going to be a macro purpose, a grander idea that helps us to deal with how we function with the relationship externally into the larger community. Sometimes when stuff is whack and it's not flowing the way you want it to, the best thing to do is to stay focused on the grand purpose. And the interesting thing happens when you can do that. You actually magnetize your partner back to that purpose and thereby increase your attraction again. And then you kind of come back together. This is a way to use some spiritual kung fu to really stay on task and stay together in times where it's hard. You got anything on that?
Yeah, you're never not on purpose.
Right.
And it can feel that you are. So this is where the flexibility comes into play, because you have a divine purpose. You came together for a divine purpose, and that is never not happening. And at the same time, we can feel that it's not, or we can have our own expectations. And this is why it is important to be committed to the unified purpose. There are going to be times when you have to focus on yourself and your goals, which are very individual. And there are going to be times that your partner will have to do the same. And what that looks like is that you are sometimes not on purpose. And I think it's very important to zoom out, like you said about spiritual kung fu, and know, you need to hold it in the front of your mind, and that life is always happening for you, for your benefit, right? In divine order.
Absolutely. So this is unified purpose, the first principle. Mm-hmm. And together with flexibility, this opens up the first day of Akoma Day. Yeah. So stay tuned, stay tapped in, and follow with us as we, roll out the very first day. Welcome to Akoma Day.
Happy Akoma Day. And we
25th annual.
Looking forward to embracing the virtues and principles in our lives and our family, and we would love to hear how you're embracing them in yours.
Akoma.
Akoma.